A messy, rainy joint practice that unfortunately had a few injuries. The latest from Chicago from the Bengals joint practice with the Bears. Hi again, everyone, and welcome into Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, join the 45,000 plus Bengals fans that subscribe. And unfortunately, I didn't make it to dreary, rainy, wet, gross Chicago. And the Bears, well, they made it hard to track today's practice from Cincinnati, but we were able to anyway. And it's time to dive into some good news injury wise, certainly some bad news injury wise, and some other takeaways. Thanks to the boots on the ground that were there, thanks to the Bengals who actually did post some things, and much, much more. Let's start here with the injuries. By the way, if you can't sense the sarcastic tone, the Bears essentially closed the practice to fans because of weather. Okay, fine. And then told reporters they couldn't tweet during the practice and didn't let them record anything. And so we didn't really have video to go off of. They couldn't live tweet things. And yet we were still able to find the information to get it to you. So that was my shot at the Bears, not the Bengals. Shout out to the Bengals for posting some clips on social media. And the first one that they posted, I'm going to start with the positive before we get to the negative injury wise. The positive, Charlie Jones back at practice. Charlie was carted off the field last week. I wasn't sure if he was going to practice. He didn't do team drills, but was out there. The Bengals posted it on IG. I was like, oh man, there's Charlie. It's a really, really good sign for him. The fact that he was just out there participating at all, huge, huge for number 15. Now the bad news injury wise. Chris Evans put in an air cast, carted off the field, was hurt fielding, or not fielding a kickoff, covering kicks. I've been told just really sucks. Hopefully it's not as serious as it looked. And then Deontay Smith went down and apparently practice stopped. Both fields, both sides, right? You have like offense, second team offense versus second team defense, and in first team versus first team. I assume Deontay was in on second team. I assume he was lining up at tackle, but practice stopped. He was also put in an air cast and carted off the field. So hopefully those two guys are okay, right? And it isn't as serious as it looks. This happens sometimes, even with air cast. Tyrone Tracy is a Giants running back. He was put in an air cast recently, and it's not as serious. It's just a low ankle sprain for him. Last week with Charlie Jones, we thought the worst when the cart comes out and there's a hush tone over practice afterwards. You think the worst. Sometimes it isn't the worst. So hopefully that's the case for both Chris Evans and Deontay Smith, both guys fighting to make the roster. Another note that's interesting, and I'm looking here, but Trent Brown left halfway through practice with lower back tightness, is how it's described. We'll see how serious that is. You certainly, without Amarius Mims, you want Trent Brown out there. Cody Ford replaced him at right tackle, and I think Cody Ford is that guy for the Bengals. I think they have a lot of confidence in him, and I would expect him to start on Saturday against the Bears when a lot of these starters aren't going to start. That being said, let's get to the negative as far as the on-field goes and non-injury wise, but the negative. Joe Burrow threw 3 interceptions today. T. Higgins had 4 drops. Shout out to Jay Morrison, who is there covering it. I'm using his tweet for those. Here's what I'll say. Pouring rain for part of it, at least part of the practice. And T. Higgins hasn't had the dropsies at all in camp. So I'm not worried about it at all. I think T has been awesome, not concerned, and I'm not worried about Joe Burrow either. The Bengals did post footage of Burrow finding Trenton Irwin for a touchdown, and he connected with Mike Gesicki in what looked like 7-on-7. It might have been less than that, maybe 3-on-3, but certainly 7-on-7 or something like that in one of the drills for a touchdown. So the Bengals posted a few clips. Again, it's really tough when you don't have all the clips. So there's that. But outside of that, the Higgins drops, like I said, not concerned. The interceptions, not concerned. It's Joe Burrow. We'll see. But Chase Brown had a really nice touchdown run that the Bengals posted. And overall, I think that this is about, and literally as I'm recording this, I'm checking social just to make sure that there's nothing new since we don't have the boots on the ground type thing. Zach Taylor did say that there's no update on Brad Robbins or Jake Browning as far as injuries go. So there you go. And then is there anything else I haven't hit on? I think that is about it. We are going to have a ton for you on this Saturday preseason game on Friday. What I'll be watching for, the guys I'll be watching for, because injuries to Deontay Smith and Chris Evans, it shakes things up a bit. Just that alone. Charlie Jones, will he play? Will he not? There is a lot that we're going to be watching for, and that's why you got to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you get notified anytime we post a video. Also, just a quick shout out to Rivertown Inquiry. I know they've been loving all of the Bengals fans that are going to rivertowninquiry.com, checking out all of the Cincinnati swag they have, including all of the orange and black swag, the Tiger Rocks bourbon glass. Check it out and take advantage. The CBT hat, which I have mine. I've been wearing it to practice. I think it's actually in my car. Been wearing it to practice all camp long. Take advantage of the code CBT right now at rivertowninquiry.com for 15% off. And for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching Cincinnati Bengals Talk.